The southern suburbs of Chicago are quiet at 2 a.m. The streets are dark and desolate. But there is one home in this neighborhood, on this day, that is awake, with anticipation of a long-awaited journey. Robert Robertson and his wife Maddie are preparing for Robert's departure to Midway Airport and his honor flight to our nation's capital. This will be Robert's first trip without his wife in a very long time. But Robert has a wish. He's always hoped that one day he would visit the memorial dedicated in his honor. And today, this wish is finally going to come true. Though he has no idea of what this journey will have in store for him, one thing's for sure, though. Robert Robertson will not return home the same man who is leaving on this cool autumn day.
It's very early in the morning. The sun's not even up here at Midway Airport. And one by one, our World War II veteran heroes arrive, unaware of the impact and the depth of power that the day ahead of them is about to have.
Good morning. You ready for a nice flight?
I don't know.
As the veterans are dropped off, they're immediately greeted by honor flight volunteers who guide and help transport the vets to the check-in area.
Stan, you're going to be on the blue bus today?
On the blue bus?
Yes, sir. And
It's pretty exciting for them as they check in the morning. Their family brings them by. A lot of these fellas show up at 3 o'clock in the morning before even the volunteers who are here. A lot of our veterans don't even go to bed. They are up all night and they stay awake all day.
It's quite an exciting day. We're enjoying every bit of it.
The veterans are accompanied by guardians who travel with them throughout the day. For some of the vets, that guardian is their son or daughter. And for many, it's a volunteer, most often a current member of the United States military.
All right, I'm good. Yourself?
As the veterans move through processing in the dark early morning hours of Chicago, they're unaware of the transformation that is occurring as the sun begins to rise in Washington, D.C. The memorial which awaits their arrival on this day begins to awaken. The warm glow of its light still beautifully illuminates the monument's facade. This is an image of the memorial few ever get to see, but it is indeed one of the most spectacular sights in our nation's capital. With the Washington Monument to its east and the Lincoln Memorial to the west, the World War II Memorial will forever stand in their midst, a proud and powerful reminder of the commitment and sacrifice our veterans made, without waver, without question, without any expectation except to protect America's freedom, which had come under challenge. Back in Chicago, the veterans begin to arrive at the gate for departure. The USO is there to greet them and to serve them breakfast as they wait to board the airplane.
The people gather around when it gets up on the stand.
And the vets are treated to the music of the Legacy Girls, who are present at every honor flight. Some vets dance, others sit in silence, watching, listening. They're wondering what the day will bring. This veteran is given the privilege of carrying on the U.S. flag. It's a flag that's brought on board every honor flight, and it's used to remember all of their departed comrades. They begin to board Southwest Airlines Flight 543.
You ready to go? Excited? All right, let's make it happen. You're going to lead the troops down today, okay?
Southwest Airlines has partnered with Honor Flight in Chicago for the past 3 years, and it's an association that the airline carrier speaks of with great pride.
Have fun, sir. We'll see you tonight.
Such a touching thing to be involved in, that all of the agencies, whether they're in Dulles or Chicago, tend to come together and kind of make them a priority. And everybody gets involved to make sure that they're getting the best care and the best event and service that they can.
The sun now begins to rise in Chicago, just as the aircraft begins its taxi toward the runway. The veterans on board are welcomed by a personal message from the pilot.
Well, folks, this comes from the bottom of my heart. You are the greatest generation of Americans that have ever lived, and I want to thank you. you are the reason why we, our kids, our grandkids, your great-great-grandkids, live in the greatest country under a flag of freedom for the rest of the time, God willing. Thank you so much.
The veterans leave Chicago for a seemingly simple day trip to our nation's capital to see the monument built in their honor. But this day will be filled with so much more. For some, it will mean closure after 65 years. For others, it's a chance to visit a city they've never seen before. But for all of them, one of the most emotional days of their lives lies ahead. And they have no idea just how powerful an experience it will be. The honor flight approaches Dulles International Airport on schedule at 8:30 a.m. and touches down to the applause of everyone on board. Although their stay in our nation's capital will be brief, it will be filled with numerous displays of respect that are only fitting an American hero. The first of which happens as they glance outside their window. As the airplane approaches the gate, the Dulles Airport Fire Department is standing by to honor the arriving plane with a water cannon salute. It is the highest honor ever bestowed to any airplane or its passengers. As the veterans make their way off the plane, they're stunned as they're greeted by the loud roar of cheers and applause. Unknown to the vets, awaiting their arrival are more honor flight volunteers, airport personnel, and even passers-by who instantly get caught up in this moving and special moment.
Good morning, welcome.
What everyone thought would be a routine trip through the airport turns out to be an extraordinary celebration for yesterday's war heroes. It is simply a chance to say, thank you. It is a 20-minute drive from Dulles Airport to the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. However, for these eager veterans, the ride feels much longer, and their anticipation grows with each passing mile. With the Washington Monument in the distance, they know that the moment they have been waiting for is now just minutes away.
Representing the 16 million American men and women who fought during World War II and the 400,000 who gave their lives, the World War II Memorial stands to honor the commitment, the spirit, and the sacrifice of America's fighting forces during the war. It's also come to represent who we've become as a people.
As they pull up toward the World War II Memorial, they exit the buses to the cheers of local school children who have come to welcome them. Some had seen photos of it. Others have heard it described. But no veteran could foresee this sprawling and expansive site which will forever commemorate their sacrifice and commitment. Many vets are overwhelmed by their first glimpse of its beautiful fountains, which are encircled by 56 massive granite pillars, each representing a state or territory during the war. They gaze over the monument for only a short time before all 93 veterans begin to gather at the Memorial Center for a ceremony to honor their departed comrades.
We're here today to dedicate a flag and make a presentation of a wreath in honor of all of our departed comrades. Post colors!
As the color guard enters the memorial, the veterans come to attention and proudly salute the stars and stripes. The American flag brought from Chicago is dedicated, and a wreath is presented in memory of their fellow soldiers who've been lost.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
The memories of those men and women will be honored here forever.
With justice and liberty for all.
For the veterans who remain missing in action, and for those who were prisoners of war and never returned home, an empty chair occupies a place of dignity in the front row. It is kept open for their return, and for now, it is a symbol of their continued absence.
Those who have served and those currently serving the U.S. military are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice.
Speaking at today's ceremony is Chicago businessman Steve Wilson. An avid supporter of Honor Flight, Steve's generosity as benefactor of this flight has enabled all 93 veterans to take their trip today. The short ceremony concludes with the eloquent and solemn call of taps. These vets have certainly heard these tones many times before, but today it undoubtedly takes on a special meaning and triggers great emotion in the hearts of these brave heroes and the others who come to honor them today.